Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the channel. So today we're having a look at some Cyberpunk lore, a lore video. I just randomly found it. It's called "Where is Morgan Blackhand?" Cyberpunk 2077 lore. So this should be interesting. So for what I know about Morgan Blackhand in Cyberpunk 2077, the reason why he wasn't put in the actual game Cyberpunk 2077 was because the creator of the tabletop requested CD Projekt Red not put him in the game because the creator isn't done with his story because like there's references to him and there's hints that he's still doing mercenary shit during Cyberpunk 2077. He's still kicking ass, but he hasn't made a physical appearance because his story's not over yet, and he's also literally the I'm pretty sure the creator's player character. Like he like uses him in the tabletop often, and he's like the most overpowered character in the game, and Adam Smasher is a nobody to him, literally. But anyway, what I do know about Morgan Blackhand, Adam Smasher thinks Morgan Blackhand is his rival, but Morgan Blackhand does not know who the fuck Adam Smasher is. To him, he's just another nobody. And he's like so far above Smasher's level. And he was there the night Arasaka Tower got bombed, and he actually fought Adam Smasher on a crumbling building in the lore, and they seem to be evenly matched. But he's also the only character that's capable of killing Adam Smasher other than V. Because, V's an overpowered video game character. But, yeah, so Adam Smasher was Arasaka's boogeyman. Militech's equivalent was Morgan Blackhand. FYI, Adam Smasher only joined Arasaka because he wanted to fight Morgan Blackhand. Because Morgan Blackhand was part of Militech for a little bit. Well, I don't know. Is he still? I don't know. I don't know all of the lore to Blackhand because, again, his story's not finished yet. Anyway, let's start the video.
Where is Morgan Blackhand? For those of us who don't know,
Morgan
Blackhand is a solo and Night City legend. Blackhand was what some called a solo, and redefined what it meant to be a solo and mercenary. Though, as far as we know, he really never had any agenda or aspirations after being released from his time in the military. So he just takes jobs he wants and accomplishes them for the highest bidder. The reason we as players are so interested in him is that he is technically Mike Pondsmith's player character. In lore though?
Yeah, there's Mike Pondsmith. He's the creator of the tabletop. So yeah, he's literally his player character and his story is not finished.
He played a massive role within the Fourth Corporate War, under contract by Militech and Noosa. Nearing the end of the Fourth Corporate War, Militech chose Blackhand to lead an assault on the Arasaka Towers. Morgan Blackhand had full range to hire operatives of his choosing, which led to Johnny Silverhand leading Team Alpha during the raid. This would later be known as the Night City Holocaust. After a bomb was supposedly planted by one of the many partaking in the raid, the suspect list of course including Blackhand, he made his way to the Arasaka Tower's rooftops. There, he would be tempted in a battle by loud and boastful Adam Smasher, waving Shaitan's biopod in a plea for a duel. Morgan Blackhand took the offer and began one-on-one combat with Smasher, not aiming to defeat him, but to grab Shaitan's biopod and make a run for it. The building begins to shake as the nuke detonates underneath them. The two jump at each other in a final last-ditch effort to kill one another. What's of interest to us in relation to the survival and status of Blackhand is the final moments of the Firestorm Shockwave adventure this story takes place within. The tabletop sourcebook paints a scene for us during the events of the collapsing towers. Players participating in this adventure have a few options when it comes to Blackhand's scenario. I'll go ahead and quote the book directly to avoid any complication. The player characters could certainly see this, since they had better be out of the building by this time. If they try to interfere, Adam will wave them off with an ATGM. If the players try to rescue Morgan as he plummets into the wreckage below, they can try, and may get very close, even getting a hold of his arm, but will ultimately fail. Morgan may lose grip, or Adam, also falling to his death, may put a burst of railgun fire severing Morgan's cyberarm, or an Arasaka AV or ground unit may throw up enough flak to cause the players to break off. They can, however, save Shaitan, whose biopod will also be flung about by the collapse of the tower. Can they catch it? If not, his pod can be found in the rubble, amazingly intact despite the fall. But the dueling duo's fate is left uncertain. With this final statement, the status and story of Blackhand has not been officially revealed since 1997, when...
Yeah, so obviously Adam Smasher's alive, I guess? I mean, he's mostly machine now. You know what, I'll talk more about this after.
The source book was released. Though we have learned
he might mention it also
from official statements by Mike Pondsmith and are capable of using deductive reasoning to form parts of what we can speculate about Blackhand. To begin with the result of a duel, we can more than likely feel comfortable stating that it ended as a draw. Seeing as both parties fell into the rubble of a tower, it wouldn't be the priority of Blackhand to continue the battle. Blackhand is defined by his pragmatism and would want to escape the area as quickly as possible. This is assuming, of course, that Smasher wasn't reduced to a scrunched up garbage heap in the collapse and duel. Seeing as the next time we see him in 2077, he is much farther along in a demented look. Mike Pondsmith actually made a bit of a statement on this, quoting a Cyber Yoda. "In a nuclear explosion you are. See how good you look afterwards." Though it's easy to tell Adam Smasher wasn't the victor of this duel, seeing as he would have capitalized on it a long time before and during 2077, bragging and gloating about his success in displaying that metal is better than meat, a common self-formed ideology and rivalry against Blackhand, of course. While we may not see Blackhand throughout the game, we get a few references toward him. The only direct mention of Morgan Blackhand actually comes along early in your adventure, from the man himself, Jackie Wells.
Who else can I drink here?
All on the menu.
Except there's a spot missing. Morgan Blackhand, right?
It's true. Morgan's yet to make up his mind if he's dead or still kicking.
So obviously Morgan Blackhand isn't long forgotten, but his absence has left his name out of any recent history books. Hence why someone like Jackie and Claire would mention him, but not many others throughout 2077. He's obviously still considered the solo and Night City legend. The game even allows us to obtain a shard that can be found on the roof of Misty's Esoterica, or inside the All Foods plant written by Morgan Blackhand. Of course, this being the solo's manual.
Wait, there is?
Written, or at least the introduction to it. Think you've got what it takes to be a legendary solo, huh? Sure you do. Otherwise, why pick up this book? You're looking for respect, for fear, for a way to be on top. Maybe you heard someone quote me about winning battles with only a glance, before a single shot's been fired. Well, fine. I'll let you in on a secret. It is possible, and you can do it too. But only if you got the guts to survive going to hell and back more times than you can count. Thousands of fights, millions of bullets, hundreds of gallons of blood, yours included. That's what you have to look forward to. And you'll need a solid ripper, one you can trust, one you can make a lifelong chambata out of, one who tells you every week, it's a miracle you went dead by now. At least, that's what he'll say if you're lucky. Nowadays, every kid with big iron, a thin leather coat, and a micro-missile launcher thinks they're a hotshot solo. But you know what? Just because you killed a few goons with a smile on your lips, don't make you one. Anyone can kill. I knew this rocker boy once who blew up a whole fucking platoon of corpo trash. Did that make him a solo? No, it made him dead. So you still think you got what it takes to carve your name in a solo history? Good. Then this book's for you. This is one of the only shards connected with Blackhand throughout the duration of 2077. The only other one being a short excerpt covering the Liberty pistol. It's not all that surprising though, seeing as Morgan Blackhand, despite being well known, took part in primarily covert missions in which they wouldn't be publicly available for the average citizen to read about. Because of his absence in the 2023 flashbacks, there's only really one other portion of the game that alludes to Blackhand, which happens to take form in a news report, reading, "An investigation is underway into the cause of a mysterious shootout in Japantown. According to sources, the NCPD found the bodies of Lazarus agents on the scene. The lone survivor claims that the attacker was a portly man with a black cyber arm."
Yep. So yeah, this is the only time it's mentioned that Blackhand's alive. Which, cool. So yeah, Morgan Blackhand's still around. It's just he's doing merc shit. He's doing his own merc shit. And I'm pretty sure Atom Smasher wants to fight him again because he clearly did not win. I don't know.
End quote. With this article being tucked away on a computer, along with its mysterious nature, it's no wonder people are under the impression that this is Morgan Blackhand. I actually want to show some concept art as well, of 2077, that hints at the previously planned inclusion of Blackhand, which seemed to have been scrapped after the concept art phase. As you can see right now, there's a mysterious image that seems to focus on a singular man and his dog.
Yeah, I've seen this image multiple times when looking up like Cyberpunk lore. Yeah, this was what he would look like in Cyberpunk 2077, but they scrapped that idea because Mike Pondsmith didn't want him in the game. In fact, I mean, it was obvious because, again, there's reasoning. Again, it's Mike Pondsmith's player character. Also, he wants to continue his story and shit. So, yeah, it makes sense.
What brings my attention to this concept art, though, is the signature style of trench coat common among solos, and of course, Blackhand, and a matching black cyberarm. The man is even holding a non-tech heavy pistol, the type that Blackhand tends to swear by when it comes to reliable combat. I'm not sure where this image exactly takes place, but I feel as if any details we have point toward this being Morgan Blackhand during 2045 to 2077. There's one final image as well, taking place over what seems to be a scrapyard, in which we can see a figure with a trench coat in the distance, looking over it all, and at a
oh shit, yeah, see, look where my cursor is, right here. Wait, so was the game originally supposed to have like Morgan Blackhand digging you out of... Huh. Because in the actual game, after the prologue, you get shot and you get dumped into a junkyard and then you get pulled out by Takamura. So was it originally going to be Morgan Blackhand finding you? That would have been sick. Of course, keep in mind, Cyberpunk's development, it changed multiple times. So maybe this was a concept at one point and then they changed it. Because if you look at the trailers for, like, the older trailers for Cyberpunk 2077, there were, like, it looked completely different, so... Interesting that there might have been a chance that there was a version of the story that had you meet Morgan Blackhand. Kinda interesting.
Lifted hand, emerging from the rubble. It's clear that there's some sort of meaning behind this image, and what we can assume to be Morgan Blackhand atop it all. What is the meaning behind this, though, is the next person's best guess. Ultimately, though, the heft of what we know about Blackhand since his disappearance comes from the man himself, Mike Pondsmith, the creator of the Cyberpunk series. For those of us who are not aware, Pondsmith has an official Reddit account that goes by the name The Real Max Mike. On this account, he tends to reply to fans pretty commonly, and often hints at further developments within the Cyberpunk universe. About 3 months ago, he made this post, stating, "Me and my opposite number at CDPR, Patrick, are planning a whole crazy backstory about what Morgan has been doing since the new. Not only is this exciting news for everyone who has been looking forward to additional content on Morgan Blackhand, it confirms he survived the duel in 2023 and has been active, though in secrecy, since then. You might even be seeing his story in an upcoming sourcebook once Pondsmith has completed his story in a way he finds satisfactory. However, not long ago, Pondsmith dropped a major detail about Blackhand that provides a lot of implications to his story and many other theories. In this Reddit post, everyone is conversing about the appearance and inspiration of Morgan Blackhand, to which Pondsmith states, 2040's Morgan looks like Clooney in The American, both more cyberware, which is an interesting reveal, seeing as we now have somewhat of an official image and a sort of what 2040's Morgan Blackhand looks like. However, this is not the major detail. In the same thread, he states, Morgan hasn't gained weight. In fact, he's thinner than he has been in a long time. No more fancy dinners on the corporate expense account will do it. The reason this detail is a massive reveal to the community is that Morgan Blackhand, by the time of the 2040s, is no longer working with corporations, including Militech and Nusa, of course. Many previously speculated that he had been secretly working with Militech and Nusa as their covert agent, acting as their behind-the-scenes tactician and manipulating several events that they deemed as necessary. However, this means that since the collapse of Arasaka Towers, it's very possible that not even Militech or Nusa know where Blackhand has disappeared to. I would say this also leads us into debunking another major theory that has floated around since the release of 2077. While the theory in the first place had been a bit of a stretch, many claimed that Mr. Blue Eyes was actually Morgan Blackhand undercover. However, I believe Blackhand's stated activities and lack of goals would make him unfit to be revealed as Mr. Blue Eyes, especially since he would no longer be working for massive organizations he is incapable of trusting. He is more—
Yeah, so I remember hearing people theorize that Mr. Blue Eyes in one of the... That guy only appears in one of the endings, I think. It was theorized that he was Morgan Blackhand, but I guess it's not?
more than likely relying on himself and those he can trust without ties to corps and governments. So unless something major happens to Blackhand between the years of 2045 and 2077, I wouldn't put much weight to the idea that he's Mr. Blue Eyes, or anyone else within 2077. This as well, though, of course, calls into question the idea that the 2077 news article is referencing Morgan Blackhand, seeing as it states a portly man, despite Blackhand apparently losing weight during the 2040s, though of course, one's weight is more likely to change within decades when compared to their ideologies. If you were to ask me, I would say you should be looking out for the upcoming Cyberpunk Red Edge Runner's mission kit and any other upcoming source books, as it's becoming more and more likely that we will be obtaining Morgan Blackhand details and even complete stories as we move further into the future of Cyberpunk. Personally, I am extremely excited to see what happens in the Edge Runner's mission kit. I have no doubt we will be getting great adventures, massive character and lore updates, and more than likely, a new story correlating with either Morgan Blackhand or Angel aka All Cunningham and Johnny Silverhand to continue the Black Dog storyline. So, this was everything we know of Morgan Blackhand's last appearance and current status. Let me know what you guys thought of this video down below, as well as what you hope to see once we do get official stories and information involving Blackhand. Do you want it to be another massive adventure like Firestorm Shockwave, or a more low-key adventure following Blackhand's more covert ways? I look forward to seeing what you all say in the comments, and hope to see you on my YouTube live streams I will be hosting every Sunday at 12 p.m. PST from here on out. Have a great day, Chooms. Hey Choom, thanks for watching the whole video. If you enjoyed and want to keep up to date on Cyberpunk 2077 lore, discoveries, and additional content, subscribe to my channel on screen. If you've been watching and would like to support me
there's his
further,
channel.
I now have channel memberships for as low as $1 a month.
My god, my tracking's off.
Emoticons and icons on screen, member polls, comment priority, as well as your name at the end of all my videos. But overall, my channel and I will remain as it has been. Have a great day.
Alrighty, okay, so that's interesting. God, why is my... This is why I don't turn on, like, face tracking, because it doesn't, track the emotions right. It keeps doing this face. But, yeah, anyway. So that's interesting. So there's gonna be more content with Morgan Blackhand in Cyberpunk in the, tabletop, which sounds interesting, because, you know. But yeah, I remember the theories about people saying Mr. Blue Eyes was supposed to be Morgan Blackhand, but I kind of doubted it to begin with, because I remember hearing he's supposed to have like a cyber arm. But yeah, it's confirmed that Morgan Blackhand survived Arasaka Tower, and he's kind of doing his own thing until we get like more story, or maybe it's out already. When was this video made? Hold on. Hold on, let me see. 2 years ago, so maybe it's already out, maybe it's not. Yeah, 2-year-old video. Anyway. I'm gonna just end the video here. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time before I ramble on. Peace. Alright, I just remembered this short that keeps popping up. I'm gonna show y'all it real quick. It's just people asking Mike Pondsmith about Morgan Blackhand, and it's kind of funny how he describes that character.
Morgan Blackhand.
Morgan?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where is he? Where is he? I'm not going to tell you. Okay, I am working out a new... Morgan will surface. He is alive, but I have about 10 years that Morgan's doing some fairly important stuff. And the best I can say is, imagine if the Batman traveled a lot.
God.
You know, and he left Gotham City every so often to deal. And so, yeah, that's kind of, Morgan got out of the war and said, well, I got paid, but this was stupid. So Morgan is out and about, and it's not just Morgan. That's all I'll tell you. Okay.
And that's the end of it. But yeah, it's kind of hilarious that he's all, oh yeah, it's just Batman, except he left Gotham City and he travels. Anyway, that's hilarious.